Hi guys, how are y'all? How we keeping? How you all doing, guys? You have to excuse me, we're not long in. We're out on the road today. Um, had a few videos we wanted to do. So, hi Edward, hi Katrin. I'm good, Katrin. How are you? How are you, Edward? Tommy, how are you? It's good to have you here. Nana D, how are you? Are we all good, guys? Um, Hi Tom, how are you keeping? Katrin says, good, good. Hi Shelby, what time is it with you, Shelby? It's just 5 o'clock here in Ireland. Edward is good. That's brilliant. So what did you think of that's good. Nana D is good. I'm great. Thanks, Nana D. I'm looking forward to I've Monday, Tuesday and a half day Wednesday, and then I am finished in work for the Christmas holidays. We won't be back till January, so I'm looking forward to that. Um, we were out in a place called Greystones today, up near Wicklow, up Dublin area, almost 12 o'clock. And it's 11 a.m. where Tom is. Wow. Hi, Susan. How are you keeping? But yes, we were in Greystones today. It's somewhere I had never, well, I've been to Greystones before, but I hadn't been to the cemetery. So it's quite a famous Irish man. Sorry, now I'm just getting all these notifications here. Hi, Jim. You're not late. The traffic is bad. You're not late, Jim. We're only just getting going here. Yeah, so Greystones is an absolutely beautiful cemetery. It's quite a new cemetery, but there was one Irish man in particular that we went to visit today and pay our respects. He's there with his wife. And if you're an Irish person or you know much about Ireland at all, you will definitely recognise this man. He's a singer and extremely well known. I think he had something like 50 years career in singing. I think he did acting and things like that as well. And yeah, I've kind of been looking to do him for a while, but when we got there, I didn't realize how beautiful this cemetery is. Now it's strange because this cemetery, part of it is the older part, not very old, but it's older. And then when you move down through the cemetery where this gentleman is actually buried, there's a specific sign up in the cemetery saying no surrounds allowed on the graves. So these graves kind of reminded me of America, kind of. Do you know what? There's no curbing allowed whatsoever, which was really strange at first. But you know something? The headstones there were really, really unique, really, really beautiful. Kind of blown away by some of them. So I ended up spending a good bit of time there today. Even though I just went to see this one gentleman, it ended up that I went through loads and loads of the graves there, and we had a look at the headstones and we named out a few. So I can't wait to put that one up. But as I said, if you know anything about Ireland, you will recognise this man. You know, he's a big part of the Irish culture, a legend in Ireland, I would say, a big Dublin man, but very well known for his singing and his. He had this voice like a real kind of like a gravel tone to his voice. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone can figure out who we're on about. Uh, let's see. Have I missed anyone? Goldie. Hi, Goldie. How are you? Hi, Betty. Hi, Teresa. Have I got to everybody, guys? I think I have. So I suppose the big piece of news was we were in the local, it's called Wexford People Paper. That's what it's known as. We did the interview possibly 2 weeks ago. And I think the write-up, the man that took the photos, Jar, he's a well-known local man that does all the photos for the paper. So I kind of know Jar from just he's everywhere. He's always out and about taking photos. But we spent a bit of time doing a few photos, and then the interview. It was lovely because it wasn't like questions and answers. It was just like a normal chat, and he just recorded everything, and then he wrote the piece in the paper, and it was just the way he wrote it and the way he described the channel and stuff. I mean, there's no way I could have done that kind of. I couldn't have done a better job myself. So it was really, really nice to have that. And of course, we're kind of a bit of a celebrity thing around work and stuff, So it's good crack. Hi, Stephanie. So I hope, are you all doing well, guys? You are. Yeah, Jim. I asked him to Photoshop me a bit slimmer, but it didn't work out. I was hoping he'd be able to do something for that, but it didn't. That didn't happen. So yeah, so the article, you can read it online, but it only gives you a certain amount of the article itself. I think it's like you have to buy the subscription then, which is a bit silly. And then the other bit of news was we put up the video of Jim Hutton, Freddie Mercury's partner, which I absolutely now. The only thing about that video was it was so windy, but we had drove kind of maybe 2 hours, approximately 2 hours to get to the cemetery. And when we left Wexford, it was fine. And of course, when we got up there, and it wasn't until I kind of went around to have a look at the grave, I realized, oh my God, it is so windy. But I had the mic with it's called a dead cat, kind of a cover on it. And it just didn't really help. And I tried everything I could in edit to try and make my voice stand out a little bit. So it was really, really disappointing that it wasn't as clear as I wanted to. And it was absolutely Baltic cold that day. And it was, raining on and off and on and off. So I just said to myself, I'm just going to have to get it done. So I'm grateful that while we were at Jim's grave, the wind wasn't so bad at all. But the amount of views it's getting, it's one of my highest viewed videos. And so I'm blown away. But then again, I suppose thinking about it now, it doesn't surprise me because Freddie Mercury was worldwide kind of known and a very, very talented man. And I suppose when you mention Freddie Mercury in anything, even though, it's Jim's grave, it kind of, it blew up over the last few days. So it's nice to get one of those videos that just goes, not viral. I'd love it to go viral, but that it gets a lot of views and people seem to have liked it. Hi, Maureen. How are you keeping? Oh, thanks, Jim. I'm very hard on myself in the sense of I'm not a perfectionist by any means at all. But when you do a video, or when I do a video, I'm like, even today after doing the video and, reading the headstones and stuff, I kind of was on the way home going, oh my God, could I have done better than that? I'll have to edit that and I'll have to put in this grave there and this grave there. And then there was lots of people going around. So I was stopping and recording. It was quite a busy cemetery. But I always kind of second guess myself. And I always criticize my own work, I suppose, in the sense that, like the one with Jim Hutton, I would have loved to have done a longer video and got to see more graves. And then, of course, the audio wasn't great. But you look at, we got to the grave and, everything sounded okay while we were at Jim's. And I kind of put into the edit then as well some of Freddie's music. Just I thought that was just, something nice to do. Maureen is grand. That's an Irish thing to say, Maureen. I'm grand. When did this person, right, I'm going to have to look up, I'm going to give you the exact date, Tommy. Let me see. I'll give you the exact date. Where did I? Right. So I know the year, but the exact date is the 16th of August 2008 when this particular gentleman passed away. I'm sure what I will do is in edit, I will obviously put up his photos and I will put in clips of him in his doing his music and singing and stuff. Like, I mean, he sang with lots of he was in a band, let's say. Tommy, it didn't take you long. Well, I was always saying, the one with Jim Hutton, I said, oh, I'll keep it quiet. But then, obviously, when I put up the thumbnail, I was there, well, there's no point in keeping it quiet because the thumbnail says who's in it. So it's a bit like that. So, yes, that's who it is, Tommy. Well done. He was a huge part of Irish history, I think. He was the group he was in, the Dubliners, like just a phenomenal group, and they were known worldwide. They were, I think, they were in the UK top. Do you, Tommy? You know it, and you'd recognise that. I don't care if you heard him, and somebody told you his name. It is a voice that would stay with you forever. There was nobody else like Ronnie Drew. Nobody else like Ronnie Drew. His voice is extremely unique. He had this kind of say like a gravel tone to his voice, like a husky, deep voice. And in Ireland especially, he was really, really well known. He, as I said, he was with the Dubliners for. Are you Maury? There was like the Clancy brothers, and there was the Dubliners, there was the Wolf Tones, and it was Ronnie that we went to see today. And his headstone is, there's nothing. I don't know. I presume that when you go to see someone famous and well known, that you're going to find this huge memorial, and it's just a beautiful, simple memorial for Ronnie, and his wife is there. And it's kind of nice to see it. It's not all bells and whistles, I suppose. But the whole cemetery itself, I've seen headstones before that have, I've said, wow, beautiful. But the ones here were just, you'll see them when I put the video up. Some of them were just stunning. I seen one today actually with the writing on the headstone done in like a kind of a cerise pink. And I mean, as I say it doesn't sound much, but when you see the video, guys, it was just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Grew up with the yeah. I think in Ireland especially, the Dubliners, the Clancy brothers, Wolf Tones, they were the Pogues. They were the kind of the big bands at the time, But I mean, Ronnie, he would have done work with Rory Gallagher, the Pogues, Elvis Costello, Bono. So he wasn't just a singer; he was a musician, I suppose. But what I'm going to do, actually, I know Jim requested. I don't know whether any of the rest of you are interested. If you'd like me to read a little bit of the news, the bit out of the newspaper, the article, should I say, if any of you are wanting to. I know Jim was kind of had asked me during the week, and I said I would if people were interested. Now, if you're not interested, that's totally understandable. But if you are wanting me to read a bit, maybe Jim has gone altogether, is he? Did he, Maureen? Oh, thanks, Tommy. And Goldie says, go ahead. Okay. Right, so a few of you are okay. So I shared the photo. There, Jim is there. I shared the photo. So the article, the photographs and all were taken in St. David's Church in Bridgetown. I actually had already videoed that, so that is on my channel somewhere. And the little piece is wrote by Simon Burke, and then the photos were taken by Ger Hoare. So the heading anyway says, Suzanne's Serenity opens up stories from the vault. A childhood fascination with graveyards has led Suzanne on a journey of discovery and exploration. On the face of it, Suzanne O'Farrell's hobby, her pastime, might seem a little unusual, even unnerving. As Irish people, we have grown up believing graveyards are primarily places of mourning, places to avoid once the sun dips beneath the horizon. But Suzanne and her partner Carl see these ancient burial grounds as something else. They see them as odes to the past, as sites of historical importance, environments full of untold stories and hidden mysteries. From as far back as she can remember, Suzanne found graveyards and cemeteries fascinating, and fondly recalls regular visits with her parents to clean the family headstones. That fascination has led her to create her own YouTube channel under the persona of Serenity Sue, in which she video blogs or vlogs her trips to graveyards across the country for an audience which mostly consists of Irish expats. Because while we may take these graveyards for granted, pass by without a second's thought, for those who can no longer visit them, they are a vital link to the past. Hi Linda, how are you? A lot of people who follow me and watch my videos are from America, Australia, Canada, England, etc. I've had people from India, everywhere, very few from Ireland. Now that is true, my majority do not. I mean, a lot of my subscribers, there's out of them all, there's very, very few Irish. We had a man from New Jersey, you might remember that, the subscriber request where we visit the family plot, the Nolan family plot, Scotland, yes, family plot in Tullow in Carlow. So he just goes on to say that. And he says it was lovely to be able to do that for him, and we put flowers on it and showed him the video. While she regularly fulfills requests for her followers, Suzanne visits cemeteries around the country on a weekly basis, regardless of requests. And both she and Carl have an appreciation of not just the history, but also the craftsmanship in our burial grounds. It's about the designs of the headstones as well. Some of them are beautiful looking. You'll see the name on the bottom of the headstone of the man who crafted it. The oldest one she found was in Kilkenny, and well, it wasn't Kilkenny actually, that is a typo, it was Carlow, and it was dated back as far as 1622. And she found one for 1632 in Youghal, Cork. There's a story to every headstone as well. You have ones with photographs on them. You end up getting to know that person as well in a strange way. It's a great way of ensuring people aren't forgotten. One story she did was the woman who had died in a house fire along with her 7 children. We saw another one in Grange where a woman died on the day her brother was buried at the funeral. It's a good way to remember these people and ensure they're not forgotten. It might seem unusual to people in Ireland, but in America, people are out there doing this all the time. They're vlogging in cemeteries and mausoleums constantly. Beneath every headstone lies a story, and Suzanne tries to incorporate these stories into her videos where possible, to provide background information to those watching her videos. However, they are conscious when her work takes her down a more sinister route. Oh, sorry, I'm after missing a line. Beneath every headstone lies a story, and Suzanne tries to incorporate these stories into her videos where possible to provide background information to those watching her videos. However, there are occasions when her work takes her down a more sinister route. There is an element of spookiness. If we find a lead coffin, I'm there, as close as I can get. I was nearly touching one last Sunday. You might remember that one, the McKenna mausoleum. And it just goes to describe how I described the coffins. It had a timber on the outside, but a lead top, and the grave robbers had opened it up like a tin can, and you could see it all. Initially, it was about ensuring people weren't forgotten, but then you get caught up in the whole thing. I always found cemeteries beautiful, and then you're finding these mausoleums, and there's not many of them in Ireland. I often go into a place and say, we'll do 20 minutes in here, but you end up finding loads of things and you're recording for 40 minutes. It will be the ones that catch your eye that we'd feature. Among those was a grave in Banno, which claimed its occupant had lived to the grand old age of 140. You might remember that, guys. It was Banno Church and Graveyard. An overgrown cemetery in Carrig in Escorty, which was a bit eerie but really enchanting, and a resting place of the former world heavyweight contender Jem Roach. Yet there are certain places which we won't kind of visit. He was kind of going on about, we had said there were some stories, more local stories that are, you just don't want to tell them. It's too close to home, some of them, and I'm talking kind of, what would you call it? Maybe a murder or something similar, where I don't like to do the local stories. And when I say local, I mean like in Wexford, for several different reasons, really. I'm kind of happy enough to kind of keep going as I am going. If it was if it was something that happened a long time ago, like a murder or like that fire, I'm happy to do it. But if it's a more recent one, even if there's a grave and a story to be told, for now, I'm not going to do that. I just find it's all too much. It's too new. I don't feel comfortable doing it. And we were kind of saying that to the reporter, that there's certain things that, I won't kind of go to. Because there is a man, and he's supposed to have been buried with his Rolex in a gold coffin, but there was a big to-do about that. So I've never gone near there, and I don't intend to do those kind of ones just yet. When questioned about it, Suzanne says it's mostly chosen. Oh yeah, let me see. He said when questioned, those kind of things we wouldn't go near. And just said that Carl is responsible for the name Serenity Sue, which he was. We kind of I have a love for Michael Jackson, so I was going to call myself Neverland Sue. And Carl chose Serenity Sue. So Carl is Irish eyes, as you all know anyway. And it just said that he had chosen the name, and that Suzanne on the most is quite a serene person. Sometimes, most times I and then he just went on that we were hoping to go. He mentioned the different counties that we have videoed in, and that we were going to, at that time, go to Carlow to see Jim Hutton's burial place. So that's kind of it. I didn't want to read word for word because it goes on for quite a while, but it was a really nice write-up. As I said, I was more expecting a kind of a question and answer session, but it wasn't. It was just like a normal chat with Simon, and he recorded everything and then kind of wrote it up. I mean, that's, I suppose, his job, but I just found that he'd done a lovely, lovely job with the write-up itself, Yeah, Tom, I was just saying, we're kind of a bit of a celebrity now in work. People are in general really, really happy for us. And, I was kind of just trying to put myself out there a little bit more. As I said, we don't have very many Irish followers. Like I have Irish followers, but they're all abroad. Like I mean, people sitting at home in Ireland that are looking at the videos, and it's a shame. We do have a few, but just not very many. Hi, Vicky. How are you keeping? Hi, Kathy. How are you? Yes, Golly, that's it. I'm losing my train of thought here. It is about respect, and you know, and I mean, I'm not talking like yesterday, the day before. These are maybe 5, 10 years ago, but I still feel that it is too fresh of a story to tell. I mean, some of these stories are like, amazing stories, but these people would still have young children or families, and it's just something I just don't feel comfortable doing. If it's an older story, yes, I would do it. But then on the whole, in Ireland, um, there's not too many of those stories about, thank God. There is a few that I want to do. I've been kind of doing a bit of research. There's two definitely that I want to do. One it'll be after Christmas now before I do either of them, I suppose. But it was the death of a guard or a sergeant who died while on duty, and it is quite it is a sad story, And then there's another one of a fire, and that also is a sad story because there was little children involved. But so there's loads of stuff in the pipeline. It's just a matter of me getting out there. It's hard, as I say. I work kind of Monday to Friday. Saturday, you have to do the mammy thing at home and the tidying up and everything else. So my life is kind of boring in that sense. But I have to kind of keep Saturdays for family, and then Sunday I kind of get out if I can at all. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Tommy. Oh, thanks, Randy. Jim wants me to start a book. Jim, I don't know where I'd find the time, honest to God, and I'd have to find somebody that would be interested enough to put it together. Oh, thank you, Linda. Thank you so, so much. That's so kind. I'd have to find someone that would be willing to publish it. Oh, can you imagine? I'd be stressed out. Oh, thanks, Maureen. Um, there was actually a recent one in the Jim Hutton video. Usually in Ireland, we don't put up headstones. Sometimes it takes well over a year before a headstone is put up, unless a headstone, say, is already there of a family member, and then you're just adding in the wording and the name. That's different. But for new burials, a headstone wouldn't normally go up. It would usually be a year, give or take, before the headstone would go up. But there was, and I just can't think of the girl's name now, but it was this year that she tragically died. And as I went to it, I recognised that it was that girl and the headstone was up. So I did do that one. Beautiful, beautiful girl. She was, I think it was Gaelic football she played, and I mean, it was a local person that had actually told us about the accident, and it is just such a tragic accident, and it kind of makes me believe even more that when your time is up, it's up. And it was just the circumstance, and I don't even like talking about it. So I'm not going to even say how she died, but I mean, the creator, God love her. It just, your page is marked, and that's your time, and that is that. Hi, Denise. Glasgow, Scotland. Do you know, that was something else, actually. I didn't even read it. It's in the article. He was kind of saying the places that we wanted to go to. Edinburgh is one of mine. London, Highgate Cemetery in London. Oh my God, it just looks amazing. I have never been to London before. There's 2 or 3 in Dublin. There's a few in Cork, Kinsale, County Cork. There's one that just looks amazing. I actually want to do Dolores O'Riordan's one is another one I want to do from the Cranberries. I'm sure you've all heard of Dolores O'Riordan. She's another one I want to do. I just have such a long list, and it just seems to be getting longer and longer, And I just at this stage now, it's I've kind of have two. I've one ready to kind of go up during the week, and then we'll do Ronnie Drew's maybe Friday in the premiere. Maybe it'd be a good place to put that one. Hi, Susan. Yes, I can see you, Susan. Have I missed? Kathy, I was just saying, the way you were talking there about the monuments and stuff, the graves, and then you've the headstone, and then lots of family kind of put their own little monuments on that grave. So you'd have little plaques, and you'd see robins and angels, Christmas wreaths, a lot of Christmas wreaths today. Um, Most of it is something, I suppose, that's added maybe for an anniversary, a birthday. Once the kind of the grave settles, they might put a few little bits and pieces on it. I mean, I have seen some of the graves, and they're like gardens. They're just so. Actually, today, oh my God, today I was actually leaving the cemetery to come home, and I was just having a look around near the older part of it, and I found this one little area, and actually I have to actually have a look at it and see if I can find out any information about it. But there was three beautiful graves quite close together, and under a tree that had all the names there. They had all these fairies and a statue and glow in the dark kind of little stones. They had Christmas lights on the tree. It was I mean, it was stunning to see. And that looks like they have added it piece by piece. Um, so what I would think, Kathy, just from even graves I know is, they might buy something new for a birthday. They might buy something new on an anniversary. They would replace them, or kind of just, other family members. So if you had an auntie or an uncle, a grandchild, they might all buy their own little piece and put the monuments then on the grave. Professional paranormal research. How are yous? How are yous keeping? It's freezing, Linda. It is absolutely freezing. The weather has been, you seen from the last two videos, that was last Sunday. The wind was so cold. Saturday I went out all on my own. Irish Eyes was actually he was working, so I decided to go to a place called Saunders Court, and it is basically down this big long lane in the middle of farming field. And I had gone out there, maybe a year ago, and just took photos of it. And Saturday I decided, something, I need to go back out there and do a video on it. So you will see me going getting over electric fences, through a field of sheep, and doing it all on my own. And I was really, really nervous. It was so strange. I was hearing all these noises, I don't know. You probably can tell from the video, I was really on edge. I was stopping, going, oh my God, what's that noise? It's possibly just the sheep, like guys, but seriously, I was just really, really on edge. So I was telling Irish Eyes that, I didn't have anyone to help me with the torch or kind of watch where I was walking. So I think that is why I was nervous, not to do with the area at all. It is quite lonely there, but it's funny, it missed the sidekick. What are your thoughts on the new parts of a graveyard compared to the old parts? I feel they just don't do as elaborate stones or sculptures as back then. I was just saying that, like, it's funny because the older ones, I think are so special because like now we've got laser to kind of cut stone. Um, we've all got these machines to help. Back then, they had nothing. They had a chisel and a hammer, maybe. And so the designs back then are just amazing. The craftsmanship back then is just amazing. And the fact then that it lasts for hundreds of years. Um, and you see those old Celtic crosses that are there. I mean, the work in those is just, I'm flabbergasted sometimes with what I've seen. Um, and I suppose nowadays it's done, it's not one man or two men kind of sitting chiseling um, a piece of stone. It's all done with machines. But today, I would think, like I've seen some beautiful, extravagant graves, and I've shown them here. With the big, massive marble statues, and they are fantastic. They are beautiful. The ones today were I mean, I was just, as I said, there was kind of one with kind of like a cerise pink writing on it. Um, there was another one, it was tall and thin, and it had a like stained glass window in it. I had never seen that before. And then I found two today. Um, you get ones now actually with the angel that lies across the headstone. That to me is fantastic. The problems with the older graveyards here, especially, is there doesn't seem to be anyone really going in and physically caring for them. So they do become overgrown and quite hard to get in around. Part of me, feels sad about that. But the other part of that is it's kind of amazing. It's amazing to, ramble your way through briars and brambles and nettles and shrubbery, and then to find a headstone that's been preserved for hundreds of years. It's kind of mind blowing. Yeah, Kathy, the flat markers, it is a shame. Uh, as I was saying today, it's the first time that I've come across it that, you know, the headstones and all are there, yes, but we're in this particular part of the cemetery, should I say, they're not allowed the surrounding. So the curbing, as I would call it, around the grave. So quite similar to ones I've seen in America where you've just a headstone. They kind of seem to decorate just a tiny part in front of the headstone. But it was quite strange for me to be walking because I was, you're almost walking on the grave. You don't know where the person is buried really. Obviously it's in front of the headstone, but it's quite hard to understand the layout. The ones with the carbon, it's a grave, and you stay off the grave, and that's just that, like. But I suppose the flat markers is possibly for space reason, and then I suppose it's easy to come in with the lawnmower and then mow everything around it. But yeah, it's sad. I don't think I'd like that myself. I'd like to be able to come visit my family's plot and leave flowers, leave little trinkets, what you want, and nobody kind of disturbs that. Jim, you're right. Jumping, jumping fences, getting over banks, getting under all sorts, fighting my way through shrubbery and trees, and getting stung and getting also I kind of enjoy that. It is hard work when you have to do stuff like that, but then the prize at the end of all that is getting in to see a fantastic cemetery. Saturday, unfortunately, I did get in, but a lot of the headstones Saturday were completely covered in lichen. It just looked like somebody had come and whitewashed a load of the graves. It's quite strange to see it when it gets out of control. Lichen will just it destroys the headstone completely, like. Yeah, Jim. There's every most villages or towns would have a cemetery at least. But what happens, I suppose, is over the years you'd have a cemetery that becomes full, so they make a bigger one somewhere else. The smaller one gets forgotten about. Not always, but a good part of them are forgotten about. So if you type in even old graveyards, a lot of them aren't even marked on the map, and those that are, if I have to follow Google Maps to try and find them, I have been led into housing estates. I have been led to a road with nowhere because people haven't, it's just not marked down right on Google Maps. Then I don't want it to be a case of just going into a graveyard just to vlog graveyards. I do like to find the ones that are kind of more hidden. I do love the overgrown ones. I have to say, there's something very peaceful about it. Um, then I really want, at the Kilkee Castle one, we found two little graves for the pets of the Fitzgeralds. I mean, that is the first graves I have found of pets. I would really love to find in Ireland a pet cemetery. I do know there's one in Powerscourt. When I was a child, I was there. So it is a matter of we'll have to go back and try and find that one again. Powerscourt is in Wicklow. And then there is, where is the other one? I'm trying to think now. There is another one somewhere else, but I think what was wrong with that pet cemetery was it was kind of on private property. I can't remember off the top of my head now where it was, but it was belonging to some estate and it was on private property. So I don't think we'd get to that, but I'd love to do a pet cemetery one. But it was interesting, the two little dogs do seem to have loved their pets immensely back then, don't they? Yeah, Tommy, the pyramid ones, aren't they just amazing? Like, it's such a huge structure anyway. We have quite a few of them up in uh what was the name of the cemetery? It was up in Kildare. I think that we had two large pyramids in that one, but somebody had come in and a group, I don't know whether I presume it was paid by the government or something, but they went in to kind of protect them a bit, which is great. But it's always nice to see them before they get protected if you can kind of get a look in, which is kind of, it's terrible, but I do like to try and get a look in. But there's two, yeah, in Kildare. There's one in Arklow in Wicklow that we did. That's a huge pyramid. Like, I mean, you would wonder, firstly the expense of something like that, and then, you know, how did they make? I suppose it's like anything. How did they make it all those years ago? It was just pure manpower, wasn't it? And gifted craftsmen and women, I suppose. Jim, he's often gone in. The two of us have often gone in to try and beat down brambles and stuff. Often. I have the welly boots now. They're currently in the car and they stay in the car the whole time. It kind of protects you from the knees down if you're going through the brambles. But I got stuck actually Saturday on my own. I had the gimbal and the torch, and I was stuck in a thing of big thorny brambles. Susan, who is in charge? You see, this is the thing. I think when, I suppose cemeteries and graveyards get forgotten because there is no family going to them anymore. Um, Family has either passed themselves, or any kind of family that is around just don't know that they have anyone in these areas. I mean, I have found graveyards that I didn't know locally that were around, like. Um so that, that's what happens there. So unless a local group of volunteers can go in and do that, then it is left as is. And the bigger cemeteries, then, each family member is, you know, the, you look after your own family's grave, I suppose, and then there would be a caretaker that would kind of mow the lawn out, on the green area or whatever, like. But mostly it's family alone that take care of the plots, and that's just that. Yeah, Susan, when it's overgrown like that, then as well, you have to be careful that you don't really know what's underfoot. You're walking on brambles and on grass and what have you, and that's what I am always a bit afraid of, that you put your foot down somewhere and you go down into a hole and twist an ankle or something else. Hi, Lady Unicorn, how are you? Goldie, I'm trying to find my ancestors from Ireland. I got back as far as 1861. Well, fair play to you, Goldie. Fair play to you. Ireland is, I don't know whether it's me and I can't find an awful lot of information out there, or it's just Ireland. I have been to maybe one or two cemeteries now that have everybody's name recorded on a huge sign, which is amazing because you go and you find the surname and you can find the section. Um, then I was in another place there a few weeks ago, St. Patrick's Cemetery, and it is massive. And we were looking for um, actually, it was a subscriber's request, I think it was, and we looked everywhere for this person, and it was huge. And then the offices then don't open of a Sunday; they're kind of only open kind of during the week at certain times. So very, very hard to get information um, of anyone here in Ireland. I wish there was, that more of them would put up these maps and these sections and write the names down, and it just makes it easier for everybody. I know what you mean. I have maybe six graves that no one living knows about. The last was 1917. Isn't it so strange, Jim? And there would have to be ancestors like still alive. Um, but unfortunately, if you're not told that we have family buried there, I mean, how would you know? Hi, Susan. Hi, Marcia. Perth, Australia. Oh, wow, Marcia, that is amazing. We volunteer at the dog refuge and we have a pet cemetery in our grounds. Oh, started in 1937. Wow, that is amazing. I would really love to do a pet cemetery. I would really love to do one, and we have been searching. Yeah, we don't have very many pet cemeteries here at all. As I said, there's the one I know of um, in Powerscourt, the one that we can't get into. And I just can't think at the moment, is there another one that we have been looking into? I just can't think off the top of my head now. Joe Cell Swoops, did I say that right? Hi, Jean, how are you? Bye, Tom. No, Kathy, I love the mausoleums over there. I absolutely adore them. We don't really have kind of anything like that. You kind of see now coming into cemeteries now, they are doing just this little small area where you're allowed to put ashes. That is kind of a new thing coming in to the cemeteries now. No way, Jim. One person I know had a home at an old cemetery in the backyard from the early 20s. Wow. Yes, Tala, I have been kind of looking into that. Um, I've just a few other things to do first. Actually, must have another search from around Tala now that you remind me. Hi, Catty, how are you keeping? Goldie, we buy our plots here. Plots are bought, and so that's just the way it is. It's yours and it's yours forever. You and your family go into it depending on, so if I had a plot, my next of kin would be coming in with me, whether they liked it or not. uh, you might go in with your parents. If they have a plot, you might go in with your parents. So you would buy a plot and it would be yours forever. Irish Eyes is Jim. Irish Eyes is watching a match, would you believe? Liverpool are playing, and he is a huge Liverpool supporter. So that's what he is doing at the moment. And after this live, I will run up and hopefully Liverpool have scored. They were one up. No, sir, they weren't. Tottenham, I think they're playing. They were winning, so he wasn't the best pleased over that one. Yeah, I hadn't heard of that, Susan, about leasing plots. That's a new one for me. Marsha, I would love that. A pet cemetery with dogs, cats, birds, the whole lot. And one kangaroo, no way. Yeah, Denise, it's just hard work. Um, Maybe you have to be, I don't know. Uh, I know there's loads of stuff online, but I think if you really don't have, I know a relative of mine tried to do a family tree, and it's hard work. Like it's not that you can just type in a name and it all comes up. It's hard work. So fair play. I've been able to add your Scottish side to that. Yeah, Jim, I like that idea. Pet cemetery in a cemetery, and wouldn't that be nice? Go Liverpool, says Jim. So Goldie, how does that work? You lease it. So I don't know. You lease a plot, is that right? And do you ever own it then, or is it a continual? The score is 1-1, Jim. Thanks for that. Thank you. Who scored for Liverpool, Jim? Go on, tell me. No, Linda, it's a lot of research. Like, I mean, wouldn't it be lovely that you type in a name and maybe, I don't know, a town and a date or something like that? Date maybe of birth and death or something like that, and you can find all what you need to know about your ancestors. Wouldn't that be amazing? Can you imagine? Jim Morrison's grave in Paris was leased until the year 2000, and there was talk of remove. No way. So if your lease is up, what happens, Tommy? Do they remove you? Do you make a lease is renewed, or what happens? That is so strange to me. Yeah, Cassie, I like that idea. Anybody should be entitled to have their pet buried with them. Why not? That's a new thing, actually. In Ireland, we have I think, two places. One in Escorty is quite a new one, where I'm not sure whether it's all pets, but I know they cremate dogs for people. And there's another one, maybe it's Waterford. So these are two brand new businesses, I suppose. And I think that's quite nice, actually. Wow, Marcia. So a lease is 25 years. The family has to renew it. This includes. No way. Yeah, Tommy, that's interesting, isn't it? Wow, Marcia, that is amazing. Sorry, guys, I keep getting a notification here. Yeah, that would be lovely. That would be lovely to have your pet. Um, if I don't see why it wouldn't be allowed. Like, yes, Denise, I was at Greyfriars. I met Greyfriars Bobby. I rubbed his nose, even though now they're saying you're not allowed to because it's been rubbed away basically. And would you believe I was so upset? I was talking to a man there. I'm not sure whether he was doing tours or he was just a local man. Because we seen the grave of Bobby and then obviously the statue. And then I was told it was just a kind of a folklore that Bobby is actually not buried in that cemetery at all. And I was like, oh no, he has to be like. I love that story. I bought my son the story of Greyfriars Bobby, and it's a beautiful story. So when he said that, I was kind of like, oh, don't ruin it. Oh, Susan, that's lovely. For a year, then after that, they pushed the bones. And Jim, I seen something about that. Who was that? Somebody was making a video about that. Was that Scott on tape? And I think it was. It was like that over the years, the obviously the bodies kind of break down, and to keep just putting in more and more bodies and pushing the bones back down into a holding area. Yuck. I don't like the thoughts of that at all. No way. Hi Dee, how are you? The Philippines do that too. Actually, do you know, I seen a video of where was it the Philippines? I don't want to say the Philippines in case I'm wrong, but I kind of think it was where they have graves, and once the area starts to get full, they take. It's horrible to think of, and it was horrible really to look at. But you know me, I'm a bit morbid, so obviously I watched it. But they dug up the bones of the body, and literally this man was throwing the bones into a bag, so a new body can be laid to rest. It was so, like, it was intriguing, but kind of a bit sad as well, you know. New Orleans is fascinating, isn't it? Wow. Yeah, Linda was just, do you know something? I can understand if they're out of room, but it was the whole, it just felt wrong to me in the sense, yeah, it was just, I think it was the process in which they did it. If you kind of had to dig up someone and you were respectful and you mind the body and you mind the what's left of the body, you could understand. But this fella, it was like he was in digging up, I don't know, spuds. It was just thrown into a bag. It didn't sit well with me in that sense. I get it, but just the respect side there, it was like you're gone and that's it, like. Sharon is here from New Orleans. Wow, Tommy, I was in Paris myself a few years ago. I didn't visit any cemeteries. It's a good, oh, it's maybe 10 year ago. It's probably more actually, 11, 12 years ago. Hi, Maureen, how are you? Yeah, it was a bag, Linda. I'm not messing. It was like a normal bin bag. He was pulling them up and bits of clothing, all the bones just thrown in. I was like, oh, please have. I'm not saying he was being disrespectful because I don't know their culture or anything else. I don't really know enough about it. But for me, it wouldn't happen here anyway. I know that for a fact. It was just out with the old, in with the new, and then the whole thing would start over again. The whole process would start over again. Ask a mortician. Oh, yes, I've watched actually a few of her videos. Really, really interesting. Really, the whole deeper. Yeah, Katia, I get, do you know, if you're going to put loads of people into Jim, do you know something? I knew he had just scored because I heard Irish Eyes upstairs shouting hip hip hooray kind of stuff, you know. Catty, yeah, like in Ireland, we dig deep, you know, the first coffin in a plot goes down deep. That is to allow for more coffins to go in on top of them or side by side. And then obviously the coffins kind of break down and, you know, the earth sinks. And I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. Um, and even that, if there's no room for burials, and grave a 70-year-old more deed person update the whole day. Yeah, I'm okay with that too, Kathy. Actually, if they have to bring, you know, if they have to dig the grave up and dig deeper down, but place them back in, I'm okay with that too. As long as it's done with respect and I mean, just a bit of, you know, it's all about respect, guys. At the end of the day, uh, that person lived a life, worked, had a family, and I suppose it's all part of our history. So just have, you know, that little bit of respect for that person. It's just, I know it's a body at the end of the day, they're not there, but yeah, I just think it's all about respect. Oh, thank you, Maureen. Well, guys, with that being said, we're here an hour now chatting away, and I'm blabbing as usual. I get kind of a lot of brain fog, and I've loads and loads and loads to say, and it all comes out in a big mishmash of everything. Uh, but take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you so, so much for joining me. You're very, very good. I appreciate you all. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. I'll have a few videos up during the week. We'll put up the older one, and then Ronnie Drew's one will go up Friday, please God. Did you hear him, Jim? Wait till I tell him. Um, so anyway, guys, thanks so so much. I love you all, and you know I do. You're absolutely amazing. Roma, I'm so so sorry. You can watch it back. It's all me ranting and raving and giving out and talking and discussing and the whole lot. But anyway, thank you so so much. Um, Midwest Flesh Abandoned Explorers. Thanks a million, guys. Take care and God bless. And I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.